Okay, the Gemara says, it's brought down in Shulchan Aruch, that Shleishim Yom Kedem HaChag, 30 days before Pesach and Sukkot, you have an obligation to start learning the laws of Pesach or Sukkot, because it takes 30 days to learn, well, it takes really a lifetime, to learn all the laws of Pesach and Sukkot. Before Shavuos, there is no concept of 30 days, because Shavuos doesn't have any unique dinim. Pesach has a lot about chametz and matzah. Sukkot has about sukkot, lulav, and esrog. Shavuos is basically a regular, besides eating cheesecake. But there's nothing special that you need to know about Shavuos. So there's no concept of Shleishim Yom. Nowadays, but it's interesting, it's a machlekes rishonim. When it says 30 days before Pesach, does that include Purim or the day after Purim? So the Alter Rebbe says in Shulchan Aruch, mi Purim v'atzme ve'elach. From Purim itself, you start the 30 days. So therefore, we always start now learning a lot of dinim with Pesach. Takes a long time to learn a lot of laws of Pesach. Especially this year is a unique kviyas of Erev Pesach and Shabbos. But generally speaking, in Halachos it's brought down that 30 days before Pesach, you should be more careful with chametz around the house. Like if you're learning a sefer, or you should, by a table, you should just be more careful that you have it around chametz. Because if you have svarim that you have around the table, then you have to make sure that either sell them with the chametz, or else you have to check the svarim and make sure there's no crumbs of chametz all over the place. Okay, you have to make sure to get ready for Pesach and so on and so forth. Okay, also, people should start realizing the obligation, what's called Moris Chitim. It's brought down in Halacha that people should start thinking about the needs of Yom Tiv, what you need for Yom Tiv. Also, there's a concept called Mois Chitim. Literally, Moris Chitim means money for wheat. Years ago, they used to collect money, and with that they would buy wheat to give out to the poor people, to have a matzah, to make matzah. People made the whole matzah. They would have the money for matzah and all the things. So now it's still a halacha, we don't give money for wheat. But nevertheless, there's an obligation within 30 days of Pesach to make sure that people have enough money for their Pesach needs. I always mention the story. There was a guy came to a Rav before Pesach, and he asked him, can I use milk for the 4 cups of wine? He was poor. He said, can I use milk for the 4 cups of wine? So the rabbi took out a large sum of money from his pocket and he gave it to the guy. So the Rav's wife, the Rebbitzin, said to her husband, I don't understand. Wine doesn't cost that much money. Why are you giving so much money for... He wants to know if he can use 4 cups of milk for wine. So the rabbi said to him, you don't understand. Obviously, if he wants to use milk, that means he has no meat. Because if he has meat, he wouldn't be able to use milk. It wouldn't even be a question. So if you're asking me if he can use milk for the Daven Chesed, that means he doesn't have meat. If he doesn't have meat, he probably doesn't have fish. So I gave him money, he should be able to buy the needs for Pesach. So it starts already from 30 days. Before that, you have to know. Okay. Also from 30 days is when you start wishing each other Chag Kosher v'Sameach. Or in Yiddish, Kosher Feich and Pesach. The Welt says like this. If you go away for Pesach, the hotels, you'll have a freilich. A freilich means a happy. You'll have a freilich in that Pesach. Kosher, they don't know. If you stay home, you'll have a kosher Pesach. Freilich, they don't know because it's a lot of work. It's either kosher or freilich Pesach, but it should be both together. Okay, now, Rosh Chodesh, it's the month of Nissan.
In Iran, we should say, may you have a successful Pesach. May you be successful to do all the tedious work of making
The Arizal says, brought down from the Arizal, a nizam mimashu chametz b'Pesach, somebody is so meticulous, but even a drop, a crumb of chametz is guaranteed not to sin during the year. Because chametz, the Gemara calls the Yetzer Hara Sa'er Shabeisa, the yeast of the dough. Because all sins, chametz is blown up. Matzah is humility. Chametz is gaiva, right? So the source of all sin is gaiva, because I want to do not what Hashem wants me to do. I want to do what I want to do. So therefore, it's Pesach is a very stringent Yom Tov for people. But as the Rebbe told people many times, dirt is not chametz, and your children are not supposed to be a carbon Pesach, which means you're not supposed to let out all your frustrations at your kids. They don't have to be the Paschal lamb that you're slaughtering because, But people should be careful. So now like this. The whole month of Nissan, it's halachically forbidden to fast. So you're not allowed to fast. The only ones that do fast, if somebody gets married in the month of Nissan. There's a chosin and kala, by Sfardim not so much the kala, but the chosin and kala fast the day of the wedding. So that they fast during Nissan, and what's unique is even Rosh Chodesh Nissan. Now normally if you get married on Rosh Chodesh, you don't fast. Chos and Kala don't fast. Not that day, they try to fast another day. But it says in Shulchan Aruch, Rosh Chodesh Nissan, a Chosin and a Kala do fast. It means the whole Nissan you don't fast except the Chos and Kala. But Rosh Chodesh Nissan, even Rosh Chodesh Nissan, the Chos and Kala fast. So it says why? Because Rosh Chodesh Nissan became what's called Tainus Sadikim. Because, as it says in Parsha Shmini, Nadav and Avihu, the two sons of Aaron that died, when they brought this foreign Eizor L'fnei Hashem, so according to the Chayv, by Yom HaShmini, it was Rosh Chodesh Nissan. So Nadav and Avihu, who Moshe Rabbeinu said to Aaron, are even greater than you and me, so therefore they actually became a tiny tzaddikim. So Chos and Kala could fast if they get married to Rosh Chodesh Nissan. But otherwise you're not supposed to be fasting at all. Also, the custom is during the first 12 and 13 days of Nissan, we say what's called the Nasi. Because at the end of Parshas Nasi, when it speaks about after they dedicated the Mishkan, so every day for the first 12 days, the Nesiim brought korbanos. First there's Nachshon and Aminadav, the second day Yisachar, the order of the 12 korbanos. So because that became a Yom Tif, so therefore the custom is that every day after davening, we say the Nasi for that day. In many places, they even take out a Sefer Torah at the end of davening, no brachas, no aliyas, but they'll take out a Sefer Torah and they'll read the Nasi for that day. But nowadays, most people don't do it with a Sefer Torah, they actually just read it from the Siddur. Now that's the reason, by the way, one of the reasons why we don't say Tachnun the whole month of Nissan. The whole month of Nissan, there's no Tachnun. Why is there no Tachnun the whole month of Nissan? So it says like this, the first 12 days, the Nesiim brought the carbon. So it was a Yom Tiv, they were dedicating the Mishkan. The 13th day, two opinions, either Shevet Levi, it corresponds with Shevet Levi, or it was Isru Chag, the day after the 12-day Yom Tiv. For Erev Pesach, they brought the carbon Pesach, so that was a Yom Tiv. Then you have the 7 or 8 days of Pesach, so because you have the vast majority of the month is no Tachnun, so Chazal said the whole month's no Tachnun. What? No, the day after the Isra coming, the day after Chag. So it was the day after the 12 Nesiim brought the Karbanis. So therefore it's also like a Yom Tov. They tell a story, Chassidim, when they wanted to have a Farbrengen, would always find a reason. They would always dig up a reason to Farbreng. One time, they tried finding a reason, and they couldn't find a reason to Farbreng. So they decided the fact that they can't find a reason, that itself is a reason to Farbreng. It's like Yisrach of the other Yom Tevim. Okay, first day is Tav Yibam, and then there's another interesting point. You say the Yirot, after the Nasi, if you look on the Sid, there's a Yirotzen that you say. And you say that it should be considered as we brought the Karbanis, and it says, Shebe'im ani mishevet, Reuven, whatever the Nasi for that day is, you fill it in. So the question is, does a Kohen and a Levi say it? Because a Kohen and a Levi comes from Shevet Levi. We know where we come from. So the question is, can I say Shabim and Yavducha mi Shevet Reuven when I'm not Reuven and no, I'm Levi? So the Rebbe Rashab told his brother, who was a Kohen, Ramesh Arnstein, who was a Kohen, brother-in-law. What did I say? I'm sorry, I meant brother-in-law. He told his brother-in-law, Ramesh Arnstein, that he should say it anyway. Why? Because it has to do with Gilgul Neshamas. Now you might be a Kohen or a Levi, but last time you might have been from Reuven or Shimon. So you say it regardless. Okay, so there's no Tachlin the whole month, so there's no Lam Natzeach, there's no Keller Chapayim, there's no Averachman, there's no Tzikoscha. What? No, you don't do Mekashkovi, you're not, according to many poskim, you're not shouldn't even go to the cemetery during Nisan. But our minhag is we do go to cemeteries during Nisan. But the Mashal it says you shouldn't make a Kamas Matseva, like an unveiling. Brought out in Halacha, you shouldn't do an unveiling during the month of Nisan. It's a festive time, the month of Nisan. But also, some people have a minhag. Let me say it like this. According to Halacha, it's forbidden to eat matzah at a Pesach. The Gemara is a very sharp expression if somebody eats matzah at a Pesach. It's like he had relation with his mother-in-law. I mean, it's all very sharp expression. Some people have a minhag, and some people do the halacha, that's it. Halacha, you don't eat at a Pesach, you don't eat matzah, that's it. Some people have a minhag that's starting with Rosh Chodesh Nisan, they won't eat matzah. Some people have a minhag, and that's our minhag. The Rebbe writes that we don't eat from Purim. 30 days already, that means from Purim on, we don't eat matzah. But matzah doesn't mean chametz dika matzah. Chametz dika matzah is bread. It's not matzah. We're talking about Pesach dika matzah. You don't eat matzah, which is kosher Pesach. Our minhag is starting from Purim. Other people have a minhag from Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Or halachically, it's actually the day of Erev Pesach itself.
Is that also matzah shira?
Matzah shira is you could eat.
You could eat it?
Yeah. Until you can eat matzah shira until Erev Pesach, there's man of achilas chametz. Then you egg matzah.
What about first of Nissan?
Huh?
When is the first of Nissan?
When is the first of Nissan this year? What day of the week?
Sunday.
What day?
Sunday.
What is the day?
Aleph is Sunday.
Now what about kids?
It says Knan about matzah.
Yeah.
It said you could be makeup for kids. Okay, but shh.
When is first of Nissan in the calendar?
What day of the month?
Yeah.
Want to look. March 30th. Okay, that's Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Now, one last thing before we go to Ma'ariv, and that is, there are opinions in halacha. You know, the Rebbe doesn't agree with. I mean, it's a whole issue in halacha. But the Torah says in about Rosh Chodesh Nisan, "Achedesh hazeh lochem Rosh Chodashim." That this month is the first of the months, right? So in Torah, when it says Chodesh Hashlishi, it means Sivan. Nisan, Ir, Sivan. Chodesh Hashvi, the 7th month is Tishrei. Okay, because the first of the month, the first month of the year is Nisan. So there are opinions in halacha that say that, you know, sometimes you write a date, so you, instead of writing February 10th, you write 2/10/25. Or March, you write 3, you know, like, there are opinions in halacha that say you're not allowed to do that. Why? We don't pass like that, but there are opinions in halacha that say you don't do that. You're not allowed to do that, because when you're writing that 3/25, so you're basically saying that March is the 3rd month. But the Torah says Nisan is the 1st, Iyar is the 2nd, and Sivan is the 3rd. Hachedesh hazeh lochem Rosh Chodashim. So it should be that. Other people disagree with that, and they say there's a pasuk in Tehillim that says Hashem yisper v'chsev amim, Hashem counsels to the Goyish months. So there's a whole argument, discussion in halacha if you're allowed to do it or not.
So what if the Rebbe said it's okay to do it like that?
The Rebbe writes Hashem yisper v'chsev amim.
Okay.
Yeah. Machachinus on my Kim Shalag out Tato.